Okay, so we're on episode 19, and I just want to give a disclaimer that there will be mention of things related to mental health and suicide. And so if this is something that is triggering for you, please don't listen to this episode. So like I was saying before, I was basically surrounded by COVID 24/7. I was always available for this job. I had a work phone, my personal phone. I was able to access my work email. I was working weekends. It was all the time. Um, and again, I'm working with people that had very conflicting approaches to curriculum development. The people I was working with had backgrounds in education, but more related to public health. My background was classroom teaching. So I was not a SME on the subject matter. I had to learn how to be that. But I was a SME when it came to curriculum development and education and what works in a classroom setting and how to deliver and deliver that training and facilitate that training. But things, it just started to, it's really started to affect me both mentally and physically. I started having constant panic attacks. I didn't know they were panic attacks, but I'd vomit all the time. I felt like I was losing my mind. This went on for months. I think it was the stress of this job and feeling like I could not meet the expectations she wanted from me and feeling like it was my fault when really looking back, it wasn't. It just wasn't a good fit. I am a gifted educator, but this was not the right environment, and she really shouldn't be a supervisor. On top of that, having the stress of knowing the illegal activities my husband was doing. And quite frankly, just the COVID environment, it took a toll on a lot of people. And I think I got to kind of my last straw. This was now, the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. And that end of that year, I was given again high marks on my evaluation, all 4s out of 5s. Um, Even my mid years were always good marks. I always got 4s and 5s. The weird thing is she always had us do our write ups for any rewards or awards. I'm sorry, and I never had a supervisor do that. And it got to the point where I just didn't care. Just give me the necessary 3. That means I'm doing my job, and let me not have to do a write up, because she would just take that write up and rewrite it and have you rewrite it. And literally, it felt like weeks just for a couple paragraphs to get a nominal award. And I know we needed the money because we were living paycheck to paycheck, but good God, really, really, if you can't write up my award, then don't give me one. If you don't understand what I'm doing, I mean, yeah, maybe I help write it up. If you want it a certain way or certain words used, then you write it. But it had gotten to the point where emails had to be reviewed by her or her second in command. You couldn't go talk to anybody outside of her or her second in command, the lady who had come back from the maternity leave. Like, nope. I had always been in my previous job. I was always, sometimes I had to be a little creative, but if there was an issue and my supervisor wasn't in, I could talk to my supervisor or my director with his knowledge of knowing, hey, I know I'm not following chain of command but I need to give this information to you. My supervisor is out, and he would always be respectful in finding a way to help me in this situation without making it like I'm jumping hoops or hurdles or whatever and breaking the chain of command. Nope, couldn't do that with this person. And it was already very isolating working independently in a work from home situation. And on top of it, I'm having constant panic attacks and vomiting and just feeling like I've lost my mind. And finally, the last straw happened, and it was in April. I had a friend and come and visit me, and I had taken off a few days. Um, my friend left, and I stupidly went on my work computer to check my emails, even though I was on leave and it was a Sunday. I checked my work emails, and there was a email from her, basically just not using swear words, but you could tell she was pissed at me because I didn't have a plan for the team. It was a team. Oh, it was like a meeting we were having to just improve ourselves as a team improvement meeting, where we were going to do like activities and stuff to make us a stronger team. And all of a sudden I was supposed to be in charge of the whole shindig of what was going to happen and all of this, and I needed it prepared within the next few days, and I should have already had it prepared. And that the other people at my level on my team had taken their turn of doing it, and now it was my turn, and I should have known this. I had gone into this vacation knowing I had one activity. It was a bizarre activity, but one activity, and I had redone it and redone it and redone it, and it still was not to her liking. But I was never informed. I had the entire gamut of the team building day on my plate, and I just lost it. And I kept crying, and it was hysterical. But there was still a part of me that knew that there was more than this job, and I was worth more than this, and I needed to call someone for help. And at the time, my husband had taken our daughter to get her hair braided. So I called my mom, and I just broke down. It was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this with her. I cannot go back on Monday. I can't keep getting beat up mentally from this woman and never being able to please her. And I was like, I just don't know if I can keep living at this point. And so she was obviously scared of what was going to happen. So she called my husband and basically told him, you need to get home to her now. And he came home. I remember getting in the car with him because I basically said, at this point, I think you need to take me to the hospital. I had already done the emergency room a couple other times in that year. Once was for back pain, I couldn't move, and the other was something similar. And so I was like, you need to take me back to the emergency room, but I can't come home this time. And the second time I had been to the emergency room, I remember the nurse asking me, do you need to stay here? And I'm like, what do you mean by that? She's like, do you need us to keep you here for a psychological evaluation? No, I'm just experiencing pain. But this third time, I knew that that's what I needed. I was going to go there, and I was going to stay there.